hate Zoom, but it's a necessary evil. I am Dr. Ruth Wilburn, and everybody calls me Dr. Ruth. I normally would have everybody introduce themselves right now, but we can't do that via Zoom and it would take up too much time. So that's one of the parts I enjoy the most, putting faces and names together of new people. And so hopefully next year at this time, we will be meeting person to person. Normal, I would never have guessed when we were meeting in Denver last year that this would have happened.
On my computer, there's a switch. I don't know what it is.
We're fortunate that we got people into Denver and out of Denver, and we're fortunate that Owen got to go home after speaking to us last year. So we hope that things will get better. I'm really tired of all these words like unprecedented, trying times, and new normal, Zoom meetings. I've grown to really dislike these words, and I wish they weren't in our vocabulary. And so we're going to hope that our things get better and back to normal this year. We were hoping it was going to be a little quicker, but there may be some light at the end of the tunnel. But everybody's ready to show, and I think that we're going to see more shows this year. But I can tell you, through all this pandemic, I'm so glad to have the ponies and pony friends to keep me sane during all of this. So one of the things that I do at the first of every AGM is to read the purposes of the society. And this is something that we always need to keep in mind when we are doing business for the Welsh Pony and Cob Society. The purpose of this society is to maintain a registry for the recording of pedigrees and transfers of Welsh ponies and cobs, to promote the breeding and use of the breed while striving to maintain its purity and trueness to type, and to further its value in every way. So we all need to adhere to that. It served us well. This purpose has served us well for over 100 years. So we need to keep up the ideals of this. With these Zoom meetings that we're having now, it's made it possible for new people maybe that haven't been able to come to the AGM to participate today. And we had a suggestion from our membership that we set up our board meetings and AGM so that Zoom is available for people who are unable to attend otherwise. And so we plan to have this happen in the future. We got some bugs to work out, but we hope to do that to make us more accessible. And so since we couldn't introduce nobody got to introduce themselves, we're going to move on. And at this time, we usually recognize the people that we have lost this year. And so I would like to remember these people with a moment of silence. Lynn Alexander North, Jack Braithwaite, Florence Getzelman. She actually died in 2017, but we were just notified. She was from Fairview Farm. Cynthia Lawrence, Paul Oberhauser, Richard Taylor, and Gail Thompson. So we need to keep their families in our prayers and thoughts. So as we move on, we had asked all of y'all to download the program so that you could look at it ahead of time and could send in questions so that we could answer them. Lisa, can you put up the link for that so they can download it if they don't have it?
Dr. Ruth, I emailed it to everyone this morning.
Okay. All right. So Lisa emailed it to everybody who was who was signed up for this. And we were trying to see, and I don't know if Lisa got this arranged, for the people that didn't get to do this ahead of time or come up with some questions ahead of time, is to either type in one or type in a question or raise your hand. I don't know, Lisa, how you set that up, so that maybe we can get some questions from our the bigger group as we go through these reports. And with these reports, they're pretty detailed. So there's a lot of information in them. So we hope that, you know, we'll give some of the highlights of them, but we're not, if you have any questions, you can try to ask us, but most of it is in the notes there. So the next thing I would like to do is to give out an award. And so it is my great pleasure to award the Sabre Schiller Memorial Volunteer Award to Alex Clark, who's one of our junior members. And she's been active on the Youth Advisory Council. She's helped to keep our juniors across the country together with the Welsh Kids Forever on social media. She's put together videos of our juniors telling why they love their ponies and cobs, which she made a video that we played at Tulsa. And she's helped to write reviews for the, write articles for the review in the journal. But she's got a lot of other help out there with the juniors. We have a great group of junior kids, and our future is very bright indeed with juniors like Alex and the others. And this is a picture of Alex here with two of her ponies that she likes to ride. So we're, I think this is one of the things that last year we gave the award to Will, who was a junior. And so now we're giving it to Alex. So I think that's good. So all of you older members, take a note from these juniors, and let's step up the volunteer work, as we can always use it. We're gonna move on to the rest of the agenda. And I guess we're going to, since we've got everybody muted, we are not going to get to have a motion to approve the minutes as mailed out or posted. So I guess we just have to do that electronically. Lisa, what do you have to say about that? Because I don't think we can do that otherwise.
Can I motion?
Yes, I guess you can, Carrie.
And I'll
Motion
second.
to accept the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All right.
Dr.
So,
Ruth, your people can unmute themselves.
okay. Lisa's
Unmute
made where
themselves.
y'all can unmute yourselves. I don't know. I'm not technically very savvy on all this stuff, so y'all have to bear with me. So you have to mute yourselves, and we ask that you mute yourselves, because with all the background noise, all the dogs and the people that are running in and out, and the horse hooves, and you know, you're banging buckets around because you're still at the barn. It really makes for a noisy meeting. So we ask that you mute yourself unless you have something to say. So I guess we had a motion and a second to approve the minutes as posted, and I guess all of y'all should unmute and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I guess I should have asked if there were any corrections, but I think we've been over them before at the our board meeting. So okay, so we're moving on to the secretary's report. And Lisa always has some interesting facts and figures in there. It's pretty self-explanatory. Does anybody have any particular questions for Lisa about her secretary's report? I think that, you know, with the pandemic and all that's been going on, we're looking pretty good there with our numbers in spite of that, because Lisa's been on a lot of calls with other breeds through the USEF, and they're in way worse shape than we are. So we are lucky. So we need to remember that. If there are no questions or comments on that, we're going to move on to the Finance Committee report. And all of the financial information is in there. Jackie's done a pretty good job, pretty extensive job of writing up what all of these numbers mean. And if you have any questions for Jackie, you can ask her right now. We're very fortunate that we have Jackie overseeing our money, because she's kept us going through the economic decline in the 2006 zone, and then through this. So we've done well. So we're very blessed to have her to keep us in line. But Lisa's even tighter than Jackie is. So that's better. So does anybody have any questions or comments about our report, our financial report? Either y'all did a lot of reading or y'all are all asleep. So, okay. So some of the things for this year that we were able to pay off our building, we were able to get a PPE loan, which they've forgiven, which helped. And so we've done pretty well. Now, going on, one of the things here that the topics in here was fundraising. And so usually the AGM is our biggest fundraiser for the year. So since we're not, and that usually happens when we're in person and everybody's been at happy hour and our pocketbooks are a little more lubricated. But if anybody would like to donate to the foundation to help with our fundraising, there's a PayPal donation button on the homepage of the website. So please remember that, because we depend on the kindness of strangers and our members to keep us going. And we need to see if we can get our fundraising back, because it's our main fundraisers are not taking place so much this year.
Ruth,
Yes.
one other thing that we could do that's really easy would be if our members would take advantage of the advertising on our website. Right now it's free, but if people would start advertising there, then people will understand that that's a good place to go to look for ponies and cobs that are for sale. And then maybe we can start charging a nominal fee, and that will increase our revenue and really drive people to our website, which will make our website more valuable in itself. It's super easy for everybody to do. It's just a matter of taking advantage right now of our free ads.
Well, you can't get much better than free. And I know a lot of people like to do it on Facebook or whatever, but you know, they've gotten kind of nasty about you putting animals for sale on there. So, so yes, go take advantage of our website, please. Okay, any other questions or comments about our financial situation? Okay. Does anybody have any unfinished business? Okay. So moving on to new business, which I forgot to announce this and when we first started, is Skidmore's Fine Beeswax donated a $50 door prize for the 11th person who signed up. And Pat Colchin arranged this. Thank you, Pat. And Pam Christensen is the one that won it, which I can't think of a better person to win it because she has lots of harness, and the Skidmore's is really good for that. So I guess we will be sending that on. But we normally have more door prizes, but it's kind of hard to do when we're still doing this Zoom meeting.
I never win anything, so I'm very excited.
Yes. Well, good. So we also have Melissa Harding on this call, and she has some new business about the North American Cobb Connection. Are you there, Melissa? Is she on, Lisa? Is she unmute? I can't talk. Is she unmuted?
She is unmuted and it says she's here, but maybe she stepped away.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you explain it, and if she shows back up, then she can tell us more about it.
Okay, she's been given permission to duplicate the old North American Cobb connections. And so she's been working with Cindy Miller to get those on our website. We also have the roundabouts, a new page for those that as we get them in, we're copying them. We received permission from the Lapicola family. So those are two new features under our resources, or will be as soon as she gets the Cobb connections to us.
Okay, so that's good for all you Cobb people. That was a wonderful, I didn't even have Cobbs, but and I enjoyed reading the magazine. It was well done. So that's another resource. I like to go back and look at the old Welsh news and Welsh reviews and roundabouts, because it's really interesting to read some of these older articles, and only the names have changed. As they're still complaining about the same stuff and about the same problems. So, and how to fix them. So, but that's a good resource to use as to on the website. Okay, any other new business that we need to bring up? Okay. So let's move on to the American National, which that would be Amy.
Hi.
Hello.
So I have a rather lengthy report here, but to summarize it, as most of you know, we didn't have the show this past year, and we were relatively recently notified by Tulsa that we could not hold it there again this coming year. Which led us to a pretty lengthy conversation about, did we want to try to hold the show somewhere else this year, or did we want to skip the year? And we put quite a bit of thought and back and forth into it, and have decided to not do it again for 2021. The reasons are, I listed out in here, but some of them involved not encouraging people to travel quite yet. Part of it was just simply the unknown of how things are going to play out the next few months. But a big one was just trying to be fiscally responsible when we just had no way of knowing what our turnout could be at a show 6 months from now. So, but to kind of remedy the disappointment in that, we decided to go ahead and offer 6 regional shows this year to kind of encourage that more localized showing a little bit. So that's the Northwest, Southwest, North Central, South Central, Northeast, and Southeast are all eligible to have their own show this year. Going forward, we are, Diane Stewart is my new bestest friend in the whole world. And she is compiling a list of possible venues around the country. We are currently staying somewhat focused on the center of the country, but are very definitely still listening to the conversations about moving it around the country. So at this point in time, we are on a fact-finding mission of, I have to say, I've been somewhat surprised by the number of facilities that we're finding that could potentially accommodate us. That we've kind of compiled a list of things we have to have in a facility, things we would like to have in a facility, things we dream about having in a facility, and then are going to start narrowing that down before too much longer here. I should backtrack for a second and say that we are unsure at this point whether Tulsa will be an option going forward. They gave us kind of a vague explanation of us not having it this year that left us all scratching our heads a little bit and just wondering whether that was a sign of things to come. So we don't know for sure right now that Tulsa is ruled out, but in an attempt to be extra careful, we are looking into our options. And so that is kind of step one. And once we've kind of narrowed it down, then obviously we have a lot of work to do in terms of actually figuring out where we have the show. And obviously schedules will be different and class lists will be different. Sponsorships will be different, all of that, depending on where we end up having the show. So for now, it is in spreadsheet form and growing larger by the day with people sending in suggestions. So thank you for that. That's about all I have on that. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that. Everybody's very quiet.
All
Thank you for
right,
all your
well,
hard work.
Thanks for looking into the new venues, possible venues.
Well, now that thank you all goes to Diane. So I'm letting her do the hard work. I don't want to take the credit for it.
I don't know about that. Just dealing with national is a lot. Okay, so we are moving on to publicity and publications. And so that would be Diane and Margaret. But I will say it's been nice that bam, 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 these Welsh reviews are coming out. So, and looking good. So Diane, do you have anything to add to that, or y'all have any questions for that or for Margaret?
Couple of comments. First of all, let me back up to the national show, just in case anybody wants to quantify. So far, we had 45 locations recommended. So thank you. Amy already said this, but let me add to that. Thank you, everybody, for recommending these locations, because I had no idea that there was this many that existed. 24 of them are really in the central of the country. So Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma. So that's a nice amount to start with. 11 of them we ruled out already. They're just too small, but there are several that are very good. And I'm in contact with a bunch of other ones waiting for responses. Then back to publicity. Kudos to Lisa for getting the publications all caught up. That was a overwhelming task. And also to our members who got their articles and their ads in timely. We're all caught up. You'll be getting your third 2020 very shortly of the Welsh Review. The journal is due now. It comes out after the AGM. So the 2020 journal is in progress. And we got quite a few winners photos, but we do need some more ads. I put a call out for that yesterday. I think Lisa did as well. We had a few more roll in, but it's just a nice publication. It sort of turns into a coffee table book and a brag book. So get those advertisements in. It's a publication that gets looked at by a lot of people, not just our membership. And we intend to stay on track and on target for this year with our publication. So that's the good news. And then as far as publicity, we're going to do some similar things. We'll have some group ads this year. One of the things that we're adding, and this is all in the minutes, so you can read it, but I'll highlight one thing, is that we want to have a series of webinars for people within the society, but also open to the general public, any equestrians out there that want to attend our webinars. And there'll be a fee for that. So a little bit of a fundraiser. But in addition, it's a nice way to do judges clinics. We can have a series of webinars that are of importance to judges, and then anybody can join those as well. So the publicity committee will collaborate with the education committee. I know that Megan and her education committee already have a lot of informational materials on our website, and we will just add to that and pull out some information. We'll be seeking people to be presenters for the webinars, so don't be surprised if we hit some of you up for topics that you are experts in. And if there's, I'll take questions if there are any. If not, that's really all I need to say today.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that these webinars will be very informative. That's the way everything's going. All my continuing education now is webinars. Okay, so let's move on to the stud book. I think there's a part of there. Tizzy, do you or Hetty have anything to add? Well, you know, now we are using the electronic database as our stud book. And to me, that's so much easier. I use it at least 2 or 3 times a week to look up stuff. And there's a lot of good information in there. So you should avail yourself of it. But we're going electronically now because it's cheaper, but you can get them printed out via Lulu. Okay, let's move to the website. And that would be Sally and Megan.
Okay, I can jump in. Hopefully my audio is behaving this week. It wasn't last week. So the website is continuing to function decently well, meeting members' needs. There's been a couple of glitches. We're currently working on those with some of the forms. The next focus is getting all of the judges' continuing education up a couple. Every division is now up. We just haven't finished all the quizzes yet. And a number of individuals have jumped up and volunteered to, and this will go back to what Diane was saying, to help me put together some quick videos on this is what you're looking for as a judge, or this will help you show in this division. So I can get all that kind of put up, and I'll work with Diane on that. And then back to the advertising, it's a wonderful place to advertise, and we just need to get the members to push in and throw those ads up there. They are free at the moment for sales ads for a 30-day ad. So there's also the farm listings and stallion ads. Those currently are paid for, but I mean, I know I personally get a lot of connection from listing the stallions or listing the farm on there. So I do know people come to me from that listing. Sally, did you have anything further?
No, that's a good job.
Does anybody have any questions about the website or suggestions for the website? It's pretty user friendly. So,
Dr. Ruth, on chat, someone's asking if we can expand the search capabilities, so we can look into that.
what are they looking for specifically?
Suggested was perhaps by sex and section, like all section A mares.
Oh, okay. Yeah, any suggestions like that, send that in, because we're always changing what we're doing on that. So but sometimes we don't think about things that other people won't. So you have to remind us. Okay. All right, let's go on to the youth, which would be Ozzy and Megan.
All right. Well, first we want to congratulate Alex again. And I want to reiterate what Dr. Ruth said about our youth. We have some amazing kids from all over the country, and makes us feel good to know that they're going to be replacing us eventually. So, and they love the ponies. With the youth committee, we've talked a few times about how to keep the kids engaged during the coronavirus. Most of them are sick of looking at their computer screens because they do that for school anyway. But they've been really helpful. The Youth Advisory Council is going really well. They're working on a couple different things for the review and also for the website. I just can't brag on them enough. They do a great job. They make my job really easy. They're really good at computer stuff too. So, anybody got anything for me? Any recommendations, ideas?
Megan, do you have anything?
I don't. Ozzy's done a fantastic job. I'm super impressed with how much the kids have really jumped in, you know, watching them, well, listening mostly because I usually have it in back pocket, but listening to the Zoom meetings that they've done. These kids are amazing. Super impressed.
How good are they at computers? Can they make us a WPCSA app?
Ooh, that's a good one.
You know, that's actually been discussed. A couple of them have talked about the ability to have an app and they can upload a photo from a show right then, which would make good sense. Problem is, apps are expensive, and unless you get a college kid, that's what they're doing. But we will look into it, absolutely.
Well, some of those kids are fixing to be college kids.
Yes, they are. Make us all feel old.
Okay. And while we're speaking of the youth, I just want to say that normally during the AGM that we have a wonderful youth section that usually my sister Sally Ross Davis and her husband Roger Davis put on with the help of some wonderful volunteers. So we hope they'll be up for it next year. So I'm throwing their hat in the ring there. So anybody else that wants to help with the youth, we are always looking for new ideas because they are the future of the breed and we need to keep them engaged. Bylaws, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We haven't had any bylaws come forth. So let's go on to convention and annual meeting. Because I think, Amy, you and Carrie may have something to say about that.
I will say that I have been in contact with hotels in both Atlanta and Tampa, just kind of getting preliminary numbers for next year. Obviously, the world has got to settle down a lot before we can even begin to figure out too much there, but I've at least started that whole thing. So hotels seem to be pretty eager to book things right now. So, but if anybody has any other suggestions, I was looking at kind of the southeast of the country for next year, and was trying to find like larger hubs and things like that. But if anybody has any, I've had Charlotte, North Carolina, Savannah, a few other ones recommended as well. But so if anyone has any suggestions on that, feel free to email me. The one other thing that I just thought of while I was sitting here that I'm just going to throw out here is a year ago, I was trying to encourage us all to dig deep into our pockets for the the auction to help pay off the mortgage, that I was just thinking, listening to you talk about the donate button, that all of us have just saved ourselves a substantial amount of money not having to go to the AGM this year. And I'm going to go ahead and donate my $175 entrance fee, whatever you call it, to the AGM, as if we had one this year, to the society, and would like to kind of suggest that that's a great thing that we could do if anybody is feeling generous at this time, that we cannot offer you Martha Stover Entertainments or the happy hour right now, but that is, I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Great idea.
I don't know, Carrie, if you have anything you want to add to that.
No, I think you've been pretty much running with this.
Okay. Is David Maurer on this call? Because I don't know if we had do we have something for the international ambassador? I think they're pretty much shut down. They're not doing anything. They're worse than we are. So,
I think David's here.
I can't see all the people, so. But I don't think anybody's been going to Britain this past year. So. Okay, well, let's move on. We have the ADS liaison, Joanna Wilburn. She put a report in there. I don't know if, Joanna, you're in the house, you can see your wall. And if you have anything to add to your ADS report.
No, I think it's pretty self-sufficient, other than the Royal Windsor is happening in July this year. So things are starting to open up over there.
Okay. Any questions for Joanna? Okay. Let's move on to Sally's comments with the USCF.
My report is pretty extensive, but there was one thing that I did forget, and pony finals this year, as many of you know, was canceled, but Dr. Ruth and I attended the Kim Smith Young Hunter Pony Championships in Lexington, Virginia, and we gave out awards to the high scoring WPCSA registered ponies in each of the 6 divisions. And this is the 3rd year of that championships, but the 1st year that we've given out Welsh awards. And giving awards to Welsh ponies at these types of big events really helps to promote the breed and show the value of registering ponies. And we were happy to see that the breeding was announced for each ribbon winner. So people are really starting to get it about being registered with us, that has value. And the other thing that I want to highlight that is in the report is that USCF held its annual meeting virtually this year, including the Pegasus Award Ceremony. And for those of you that don't know, Pegasus is where some of the most distinguished people in equestrian sport are honored. And this year, we were very proud of the fact that Dr. Ruth Wilburn, Sally Ross Davis, and Joanna Wilburn of Rolling Woods Farm received the Ellen Scripps Davis Memorial Breeders' Cup. And this recognizes an individual or farm who consistently breed outstanding performance show horses. And their acceptance speech was pre-recorded, and it was the 3 sisters with 3 ponies graciously accepting their award. And I urge you to take a look at it on the USCF network, and you can read more about it and watch the video. So congratulations, all 3 of you.
Thank you, but the outtakes on making that video are even better.
We need to see the blooper reel.
Yeah, the bloopers were pretty good. So it was only like 30 degrees out in the barn when we were doing it. It was freezing. So thank you for letting people know about that. We were pretty honored for that to happen. So USDF liaison Joanne, are you on here? Do you see her, Lisa? And can you unmute Joanne and give us a update? Maybe not.
Dr. Ruth, she is unmuted. She's trying.
Okay. This is why I hate Zoom meetings. Okay, well, we'll move on. Joanne, if you get your voice, interrupt us and we'll go to your report. So is Charlotte Upchurch on here? Does she have anything from USHJA?
No, ma'am, she's not here.
Okay. And Tori, I see your name on here. Do you have anything from Pony Club?
I am here. I am super excited. I finally gotten word back from Pony Club to start working with them to create some sort of maybe a sponsorship we could do for Pony Club Welsh Pony. So my idea was to maybe, work along with them to the rider showing pony in the United States Pony Club to maybe we can do a we can pay their national fees for their championship when they go to Kentucky for one rider. Maybe do a everybody enter and tell us about their Welsh pony, tell us how they became active with the Welsh ponies and make sure that they're a member of WPCSA and let them ride in and get excited about Welshes again. And then we can add that to the Welsh Review too. Hopefully we can use that in our publications as well as USPC so we can get more Welsh ponies involved in Pony Club because they should be the primary ponies.
Thank you, Tori. That's great ideas. We needed somebody there to push that on through. National Dressage Pony Cup Alliance. Martha, are you on this call? I should have told her she was going to have to be the auctioneer. She'd have showed up for that. Lisa Seaberg, are you on the call?
Dr. Ruth, neither of them are there, but my email is getting quite a few donations from PayPal.
All right. Yay. Okay. So I think they're going to have the National Dressage Pony Cup, and hopefully that's something that we can work a little more with to maybe do some more high score awards. It's they have so many divisions. It's really hard. But our Welsh ponies and cobs excel at that. So that's a venue that we need to take advantage of. Okay, moving on to licensed officials with Margaret and Tiz. We have a report there, but do y'all have some other comments or highlights to?
I don't really have anything to probably add to the report, and I guess Tizzy's not here.
Oh, okay.
I hope it's so much more normal this year and we can use our approved judges.
Yes. Okay, so
Dr. Ruth?
yes.
Joanne sent a message.
Okay.
It couldn't be heard. And she just said that they're hoping to have more exhibitors. We were only able to give 2 riders this year for all breed awards.
Oh, well, that's not good, but
It was COVID. Yeah.
Usual years. So
Yeah.
hopefully this next year will be better. Thank you, Joanne. I'm sorry you're unmute, but that happens to me all the time when I have these meetings. I can't work any of this. So let's go on to the education, which is Megan and Carrie. I think this goes back to your videos / webinars.
Yep. And then the one more thing to add to that is we have 2 judges clinics coming up. Tracy Dobko has graciously jumped in. And so we'll have one that's a kind of catch up, what's new for 2021. We're looking at March 13th for any currently licensed judges that need a clinic, whether it be for USEF or WPCSA. And then a much more extensive, longer one March 27th, both via Zoom. So that kind of gives everybody a couple options, and we can also record them to make them available after the fact as well. So Tracy's jumping right in on that, and so she's been awesome with that.
Okay. Any comments about the education? I think that's wonderful doing all these webinars. But it's nothing like seeing ponies in the flesh to train your eye. Okay, so now to the great big one is the show rules, which would be Sally and Jackie. So,
okay, well, I'll start. First, I want to say that almost all of our show rule changes are driven by suggestions from you, the members. And I want to say how much we truly appreciate everyone's input into this process. I think the newest thing that we're probably going to be talking about today, or there might be some questions, is our new trial that's starting this year for the 2-class pleasure divisions. And I have to say that trials have worked out very well for us because it gives a chance to test rule changes in real life situations. And we certainly did this successfully with the Western Bit Rule, which is now a permanent rule. The Show Rules Committee, we have met with via Zoom at the beginning of this month, and we will be meeting again in the near future. And we're currently brainstorming ideas for the new classes and divisions that the 2-class divisions have let us have. And we really hope that some of these will be pointed in 2022. And I just want to mention again, we do have one new division for 2021 with the junior walk, trot, jog pleasure pony. And that's definitely in the report. And finally, I really want to encourage show managers to try some new classes that they think would do well in their area to get a feel for the level of interest. And it may be different in different parts of the country, and that's fine. We really want to hear some new ideas and feedback from members as well. And we really are hoping to be able to point some of these things in 2022. So are there, does Jackie, do you have any more to say on that?
I think you've covered it pretty well, Sally. I think we do want to encourage show managers to really put in those classes that you think you want to possibly your exhibitors want to have pointed for 2022 and test them out. We've done that pretty successfully before in the past. Also, we did that with the Ridden Cobbs or the Ridden Welsh as a test before it was pointed. And we did that with the Working Western divisions. We tested it, made sure that there would be entries in those classes before we went ahead and made them pointed. So this year, particularly the shows earlier in the year, if you have the option to add in some classes that people suggest that we can potentially point in 2022, that would be fantastic.
So does anyone have any questions on show rules or the 2-class pleasure divisions?
Sally, someone's asking if USEF classes still have to have a 3rd class in the pleasure divisions. Can you explain that for them?
Yes, USEF rules have not changed, and they potentially could change if we go through the trial period and we want to change it. So in the meantime, it's the existing USEF rules. You have to have 3 classes. So how a show would do that would be they would have the 3 classes, but the first class would not, the regular confirmation class would not count for the WPCSA points or championship. So a USEF show or USEF light show would basically have to calculate 2 championships, one for WPCSA and one for USEF, and report it to those organizations accordingly. Does that answer the question? Yes.
Sally, I just wanted to add
Sally,
that,
they want to make sure, is that for USEF light?
Yes, that is for USEF and USEF light.
Sally, I was just going to add that I had a Facebook memory yesterday from the AGM 9 years ago, where I did a kind of a seminar on what we could work on that would most improve our horse shows. And the number one thing we talked about was dropping our pleasure divisions to 2 classes. So years later, kudos.
We have been talking about it a long time.
Well, we don't want to move too fast. Any more questions about the show rules? I can't believe that we don't have much discussion about that. Okay, show compliance, Megan and Ozzy.
So obviously in 2020, things were a bit different. Try not to use any of the other words. So there was a lot of leeway given to shows because everything was just so up in the air. 2021, we are working at getting back to more normalcy. And so far the shows have been really good. There's been a lot of shows that have gotten in their sanctioning. Almost everything's been in on time. It's a much more normal year. And hopefully it just continues that way.
Okay. Does everybody understand what show compliance is? Well, okay. It's, you know, we try to get these shows and get their prize lists into us so we can check them, make sure they're following all the rules. And sometimes people do and sometimes people don't, but we were a lot more lax last year and probably will be somewhat lax this year, but we try to keep a level playing field with that. Make sure that shows get in on time and so that everybody knows where they're going to be. Okay, let's talk about the open divisions, Carrie and Sally, which this past year, I think that may have been even a little more important, but still didn't have lots of participation.
I don't have a lot to add. It was understandable that we didn't have as much participation. I really was impressed though with the breadth of disciplines that we did have, which was pretty remarkable for the 2020 year. I want to emphasize that this is this has a tremendous amount of potential for promoting the Welsh breed. And if anyone has any ideas for additional divisions that we need or whatever, we'd love to hear from you. It's fun to participate. I've participated for the past few years and The new website forms are much easier, and the rules are much easier to follow. So it's a good program, and I hope that it increases next year. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Carrie.
I'll find my unmute button. No, nothing to add.
Okay. Well, I hope a lot of people that live in areas where there are not many Welsh shows that will take advantage of the open show program, because that is a really good way to promote our breed to other people. Because a lot of times they go and they go like, what is that? So I think that's an important venue for us too. Okay. At this time, let's go and we can talk about the scholarships. But since Tizzy's not here, I don't, and I don't know if Connie's on the call. If we can, I mean, they're in the report, but we probably ought to announce them here. You have that?
I do. Connie is on here.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she can get on or not.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, well, they go to Will,
Bill, yeah.
Will, and
Will has a last name is Summer.
Will Summer, yes.
We just call him Will.
The Will. And
Will.
Jocelyn Wiley from Colorado. We'll get those. And I had a comment that just popped up that Judith Ann Hartman wanted to thank the people who organized the open show program. She loves it. And every show she goes to, she has numerous people express interest in her Welsh ponies.
That's something we like to hear there. So let's go on to Welsh of the Year and Hall of Fame.
The Welsh of the Year is currently being voted on right now. So if you haven't had the chance to vote on that, you can go out to the website, and under About Our Society, we have WPCSA programs, and the Welsh of the Year is hiding in there. So you can go and do your voting. Voting concludes on March 5th. So we will announce the winner of the 2020 Welsh of the Year at that point. And we just recently sent out a reminder about Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is just that, to recognize our Welsh ponies and cobs that have had historical significance to the breed. You can nominate entries for the Hall of Fame. I believe there's a cost of $25 to nominate your favorite pony or cob. You need to write up something about them, about what they have accomplished. If it is for an individual entry into the Hall of Fame based on their show career, they need to have been done showing for probably about 5 years. And you can also nominate for sires or dams who've had a significant influence on the breed. And those also would need to be retired, primarily retired for 5 years, and have a significant number of foals that we can look at. You also write those up. And then the Hall of Fame committee, Welsh of the Year and Hall of Fame committee, will review the nominees. We'll come up with a number of somewhere between 5 and 7 nominees to vote on, and those will be voted on by the membership as well. For the Hall of Fame, each nominee is voted individually, so you don't pick and choose a winner, so to speak, but each one who receives 75% positive votes. So for each nominee, you vote yes or no. And for everyone that receives 75% of the voting will be elected into the Hall of Fame. And we try and do a new class into the Hall of Fame every year or every other year, depending on what the nominees are like. Does anybody have any questions on the Hall of Fame or the Welsh of the Year?
Okay, let's move on then to the regional rep liaison, which is Margaret.
Oh, there I am. I guess we're going to try and give this another real shot in the arm and see if we can get some input from the reps. I've had a couple wonderful people reporting, but that's like 2 out of many.
Does anybody have any suggestions to help make our regional rep program better, or how to get more people engaged with it? Because we could use some ideas on how to keep people active. Y'all are being really quiet today.
There's the feedback problem.
Yeah.
Ruth, I'll just jump in and say that the regional rep program is one of those things that was requested by membership, and we looked at it and added it in. And the first year, I think it was probably pretty active, but it has kind of gone quiet. So, you know, it is something that the membership requested. So we just need the membership to keep it going and give Margaret some support.
Thank you.
Can you remind us what exactly that is?
Sure, we've got people located in the 6 different regions that are available to answer questions, to report any interesting things that you have going on. You've seen some of their reports in the review. But they need the information, they need the help too. The people are listed, but I think we need to update that.
Okay. Well, I think the regional rep program it's you know, had several births and deaths over the years I've been involved with Pony Society. Been reinvented, and I think for a while it goes great guns, and then people move on to something else and then decide we need to have it again. So it's but I think it's important nowadays with social media, maybe not as important, but it's still nice to have somebody you can refer a new person to, that, you know, that can tell them what's going on in the Welsh pony world and kind of mentor them a little bit. So, you know, I think it's a very good program, but we need to breathe some more life into it. It's been on life support for a little bit. But if anybody has any ideas on how to get us all enthusiastic about doing that again, let me know, or Margaret know. So, okay, so do we actually have a nominating committee report from
Yes, it's there at the bottom. It's the last report on the package.
yeah, okay. So there were no, we didn't end up having an election because only 4 people were running, and it was the incumbents. I'm sorry, I'm not talking well. Megan Burtness, Ozzie Picton, Diane Stewart, and myself. We did save some money because we didn't have to send out ballots, but we would prefer to have more people running. So we you know, for the next election, we would like to see some more people running and new blood. So and so we don't have an inspectors committee report, and we didn't have to pay the CPA. And so do we have any other business that anybody wants to bring up that I forgot?
Dr. Ruth, someone's asking if Megan could repeat the information about the judges clinic.
Okay,
So the first clinic, which is for current licensed judges only, is March 13th. And the time will be sorted out shortly here, probably by Monday. And the second one, which is open to anybody wanting to get their judge's card, current clinic, members that want to, it'll cover that's covered on the 13th, plus a lot more. Will be March 27th, and we'll have that time announced shortly here as well. It will be on the website shortly. I'm actually currently getting it on there. And then once I get it all put together this week, I'll get it all to Lisa so she can send out an email blast to everybody.
okay. Well, somebody had wanted us to have an open forum, which we had started having because this is our formal AGM meeting. But since we are not having the whole weekend to sit and talk to each other, does anybody have any other subjects they would like to bring up before we close this meeting?
Dr. Ruth?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I obviously this is my first meeting, but you've been kind enough to show to me, and we bumped into each other at Texas Rose and a few other places. I think there are a couple of things that perhaps would be approached. I sit on a board or two aside. One of the areas internationally where I judge regularly is France, and the other one, of course, is Mexico. I have seen Welsh, especially in Mexico at those shows. They have the Feria Nacional de San Marcos, which is their national fair. They canceled that, but they're going to have it this year. It's called Feria de la Uva y el Queso, which is, sorry, half Spanish. And that's the fair of the grape and the cheese at a city called San Marcos in the city of Aguascalientes, Mexico, huge industrial city. I'm wondering how you would go about approaching those people, because I'm seeing ponies there. I'm seeing open horses there. It is largely run by the thoroughbred industry because they have a huge racing industry, and of course, American quarter horse. I've been a quarter horse judge a year or two. I'm asking you about those international areas. And then one other area that I didn't know, because this is my first time here. I know you, and of course, Megan and some others. Jackie has hired me a time or two. And that is, I think there are a couple of classes. One is show hack that should be considered. I don't know who to speak to about that, although you and I communicate a bit, and Megan and I communicate a bit. And the other one, Pinto, just introduced now, and we have, of course, in the Andalusian Society, and I'm sure Sally knows, I judged Andalusian National 2 years ago, and that is the long reining classes. As brilliant as these little ponies are, I think they would be very appropriate for those two classes, ma'am. So much for that. I've said my piece. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your suggestions. I think show hack is one of the ones that's been brought forth as one of our new classes that we will have time to do. So if you can, we can correspond, and you can correspond with Megan about some of the particulars about that.
I'd be only too happy to. Sally, I would guess, imagine if she's USCF, knows I've been a USCF judge since before the AHSA. I've been there 45 years now, so I've been there a year or two. I would be only happy to do that. Megan, should I contact you, or what should I do?
Yes, that would be perfect. Copy
that. Okay. Peachy, I have the rules for that, so we can get it covered.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Walter. Well, we're glad that you came on our call. We appreciate that.
Well, it's my pleasure. You know, I've done a few shows and they've been good. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. does anybody else have any comments that, like I said, you know, we used to have the open forum, and I know that some of the people were distressed that we weren't having an open forum with this meeting, but I'm kind of throwing that out now. I didn't quite know how this would work with all these people on here doing Zoom. As I said, I'm kind of a neophyte with all this technical stuff, but I always think it's better when we exchange ideas. Better in person, but I guess this is the next best thing. So.
Dr. Ruth, I have somebody who wants to know about TDs. That was 6 regional shows. It's going to require more TDs, and they want to know what they can do.
Well, what is that? Are they interested in becoming a TD? I didn't quite understand where that was
They're
going.
just saying there's such a shortage. What can they do to get more TDs? is the
Oh, to get
question.
more TDs.
Yeah,
Well,
yes.
I think, yeah, we really don't have a lot of them. And I think that we may end up making some concessions on that, having to get different TDs in there. It's kind of a thankless job sometimes, but we do have some people out there that will put their life on the line, so to speak, to go to the show and help with it. But again, encourage them. It's like trying to get more judges.
And
We
anyone who's a
utilize-
licensed judge can become a TD. It's all you have to do is take a different test. So if you know somebody that's already a judge, it's easy for them to become a TD. And really anybody in your local area, if they review the rules and study them, you can take the test and become a TD. Another resource that other show managers have used is your local USCF stewards. They can review our rules and take our test and become a TD as well. So there's people out there that might not be on our current TD list, but it's not all that difficult to get someone qualified to be a TD. It's just if they have the desire.
And one more thing to add to that, Tracy Dobko a number of years ago put together a really involved, covers everything, like guideline to studying to be a TD, being a TD, what to think of, what to look at. And that is currently up on the website. That's a super helpful resource for anybody wanting to become a TD. She lays it out really well. And so it's mostly up. Some of the links I need to go fix. I think she was looking at it yesterday and she had a couple more slides to add to it. So that'll continue to evolve, but that is up on the clinics page.
Somebody's reminding us that you can also use the USCF TDs in your area.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, this has probably been one of the shortest AGMs I've ever been to. So we like to talk more when we're in person, obviously. But I am, again, sorry that we can't be in person today, and hopefully we will get this all arranged to have it like we usually have it next year. And Amy's trying to find us a place to have it, and hopefully people will get their vaccinations, or they'll lift some of the restrictions and life will go a little bit more back to normal. New normal is the word I don't like either. So I want to go back to the old normal, but we'll see. So we don't have a date for the next annual meeting till we find out if we have a place to go to. So when we find out,
Ruth, you're muted again.
Dr. Ruth muted, and where'd the baby go?
There. Am I unmuted now? It just pops up. See, I don't understand that. I hate this stuff. But anyway, since I hate it so much, we're going to get off of this contraption. Thank y'all for being attentive and for joining us today. And if you have any other suggestions or comments, please forward them to Lisa at the office or to any of the directors or to me.
Dr.
And
Ruth, we do have one final one. if we
okay,
have time. Incentive classes for geldings. Winona is asking about that.
okay. We at one time had started that. Didn't Carol Maurer have that program at one time? Started to work on it. We can certainly look into it, but I think we had done some preliminary work on it.
Carol Maurer did do that for quite a while.
Yeah. So we need to.
I might even have some of it on my computer somewhere. I'll look for it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I probably have it too, Carrie.
we'll see if we can bring it back up and put it out there for maybe discussion on some of our Facebook topics that come up and see what we get. I think good gelding is always a wonderful ambassador for a breed. So, any other questions or comments? Well, if not, hearing nothing else, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Y'all stay safe. Hopefully no more snow, because we had snow and we don't do snow, and it's a 4-letter word. We don't like it. And hopefully we'll see you at a show soon. We have the winter woolly ones in March coming up real soon down in the South Central region. So hopefully we'll get to see some pony friends there. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I'm glad y'all got to see me.